Hey, what's going on YouTube? Hope everybody is staying safe during this pandemic, and I want to send a special shout out to all the essential personnel for ensuring that the behind the scenes work that provides us with our essential services continue to go on. Hopefully soon we'll get back to some form of normalcy, and this thing is crazy times. So today we're going to take a quick look at my Glock 43X and my choice to switch it from its current agency arms trigger to an Apex tactical trigger. First things first, no brass, no ammo. Additionally, all other pistols included in this video have been safety checked prior to filming. So remember to take what I said how you want to and make your own determination. I'm not a firearms expert, don't claim to be. I'm just a guy on YouTube who owns a lot of guns. So I bought this pistol a little bit before it dropped to the public. I've done quite a few modifications on it. I did a little darker Cerakote. You can't necessarily tell, but the brightness of the original slide was getting to me when I shot it, so I had to Cerakote it just a little bit darker. I can't remember the Cerakote color name, and this was done well before Glock released the 43X with the black side. I also have Troubleshooting HD night sights on there, a tango down extended slide release, some frame stippling, a Ghost 3.5 pound connector with an agency arms trigger. Originally, I was having some issues with the gun when I first decided to replace the trigger. I took the gun to a range and it wouldn't shoot. The pistol wasn't going to complete in the battery, and it would sit a little like this. Barely noticeable, slightly outside the battery. And I had carried it a couple of times, and I learned a valuable lesson when I did that. Always test your firearms if you made any modifications before you carry them. On my part, that was a rookie mistake. Or, as a matter of fact, take any new firearm that you buy to the range before you carry it, right? It could mean a difference between life and death. I took this to the range before I did any modifications, and that's where I made the first video with this gun. Anyway, back to troubleshooting. It was so frustrating, right? I even called agency twice, and they were extremely helpful. What the issue ended up being was the ghost connector that came with the agency trigger was messed up. So I ended up replacing the connector, and it shot perfectly ever since. However, I'm not a fan of the take-up of the trigger. With the agency trigger, it seems as if it's at the wall with no take-up at all. So on my Glock 43, I installed this Overwatch Precision Poly-Dot trigger, and I love the way it feels. So it has a slight take up before you hit the wall and a clean, crisp break. So another option is the Apex Tactical Action Enhanced Trigger Kit. I have them on quite a few pistols, and I've decided to give it a try on my 43X. If you take a look at it on this Polymer 80, the take-up is fairly short. You hit a clean, clear wall and a break. And the reset is not that bad either. And that's what drew me to trying Apex trigger on my 43X. This is not a dig at agency arms at all, but personally, I don't feel comfortable with the wall being right there. For me, I like to have a short take up before my trigger breaks, and this might be a subconscious thing to let me know that you're drawing. Are you sure that you want to pull the trigger? And yes. On the 43X, with the break right at reset, once you pull the trigger just a little bit, the bullet's gone. During my call troubleshooting the trigger, the agency arms armorer told me that the trigger is built to have the wall right there. However, because of shooter preference, it's not what I'm comfortable with. It's for whatever reason, it's something I'm not just comfortable with. So again, like I said, it's not a dig at agency arms. I have a couple of their barrels on some of my pistols, and I think they make a good product, but this trigger right here is not for me. All right, so before I go and install the Apex trigger, I'm going to do a quick trigger pull test with my lineman's test gauge on this agency trigger, just to see what the measurements would be, and I'm gonna do before and after. So first pull is 4 pounds, 1.8 ounces. The second pull is 3 pounds, 14.3 ounces. The third pull is going to be 4 pounds, 14.2 ounces. So because of YouTube rules, I can't show the trigger install on this social media platform. So let me go ahead and install the trigger and I'll get right back to you. All right, so here it is. I got this trigger installed, and I must admit that I'm a fan of red triggers, right? So as you can see here, I got a couple other guns. I got red triggers on there. Don't know why, but it is what it is. Love them to death. Now, it took me like 3 minutes to install this thing. And this Action Enhancement kit also came with a connector. So the Ghost connector that I did have on there, I took that off and I threw the Apex connector on here. So with this, I get that take up, that break, and that nice reset that I feel comfortable with, right? So whenever you make your modifications to your firearms, just make sure that you're doing stuff that you feel comfortable with, because for me, I didn't feel comfortable with carrying this gun, you know, with that agency arms trigger on there, and it's sitting right there on the break. I didn't like that. I did not feel comfortable with that. And it might be a good trigger for other people, but for me, in my personal opinion, it's not. I'm gonna take a quick trigger pull just to see where it's at now. So this one is, wow, 3 pounds, 5.9 ounces. Second pull is this says 4 pounds, 15 ounces, or 4 pounds, 15.4 ounces. Third pull is 4 pounds, 0.8 ounces. So, like I said, I'm not a firearms expert. I'm just a guy on YouTube that owns a lot of guns that likes talking about his guns. So take it how you want to and do it how you feel. So in closing, hopefully all of you guys are taking care of yourselves, and please practice what, unfortunately I had to say this, practice what the government's saying. Socially distance yourself from people, and try to keep the curve for this epidemic down. So if you like what you're seeing, please click down below, like and subscribe.